left to say.
Well, I know a few weeks ago, but I was saying that the Cards were set up for a big finish because of the way the schedule broke down with 4 of their last 5 games at home. Now the best they can do is split those home games. They got to break a 5-game losing streak when Virginia Tech's here Tuesday. And after the game was over, the most interesting thing that was said was by Brandon Huntley Hatfield, who said he thinks in the locker room some players need to do some soul searching and that the blame should go on the players, not the coaches. I asked Kenny Payne about that on Monday on the ACC conference call, and he said, not true, blame on the players and the coaches, but we should know more about this in another 8 or 9 days.
I would think so. Yeah, it's changed. And I think that the whole focus, everybody's focus shifts to what's happened now, which is always a shame in these situations because the 3 games that are left for this team to play are not going to mean a whole lot. It's all going to be in the context of what happens to Kenny Payne and how and what happens next. So that's where the focus goes. And it just the one thing, and I guess we should kind of shift into the motion of what's happened with Kenny Payne. And there are several things that's happened, but it just shows you the importance of starts, of good starts, good start to season, good start to a coaching tenure. Losing those exhibition games, the losses don't count, but they were major things to have happen to him. And he just has not been able to build momentum, and this team has not been able to. You have to string together wins, and they haven't done that for 2 years.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it started with game 1 against Lenore Rhine, and I think we thought, okay, that's an aberration. Teams occasionally lose exhibition games, but it wasn't. And then this year when it happened again against Kentucky Wesleyan, it was another alarm. Then when they almost lost the opener against UMBC, and although they've won twice as many games this year as last year, it's still not enough in terms of what was promised, and this team would pass the eye test. So many different things have happened. We can go through a bunch of them, but to me, the number one thing is they just don't guard people for long enough periods of time. And I know that Kentucky has problems on defense, but Louisville's defense is twice as bad. And you go back to the Syracuse game, there was a stretch where they made a little bit of a run. Then Syracuse Stewart made 8 straight shots. That can't happen game after game after game. Guys are not committed to playing defense. I mean, really playing defense. Get up in somebody and make them uncomfortable. Block out and get the defensive rebound. They just don't do it, and when you don't do it, you're not going to win.
Yeah, and there's a long discussion to be had by people who are in basketball over this question of defense. There are good defensive teams out there, but there's so much of a premium on shooting and getting people that can handle the ball and shoot at every position and doing all this stuff that there's a lot of people struggling with defense and a lot of good teams struggling with defense. In the end, you've got to be able to score. The game is kind of becoming more of an offensive game, but there are some real defensive struggles more than just at Louisville. So there are 1,000 things that would fit into this. We could spend.
But if you're playing the defense they're playing, you better be playing elite offense, and they're not.
And they're not. They don't have shooters. They're not. The 3-point shot is the other missing link. I like the team's talent itself. I mean, they got kind of the pieces that ought to be able to win a little bit more than they are, but it just hasn't ever been put together. You can catch every episode of Overtime on WDRB+.
Download the app on your phone or TV today.